Hello and welcome to Kate's Paper Creations. I am Kate, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Washington State. I want to welcome you to my weekly current catalog video and blog and show you what I'm making today. This is products from the current catalogs, and it's a card for Easter, and it's a slider card. So it looks like this when it's closed, and then as you open it up, it creates this little slider in there, and I really like that. So let's show you how I did it. Let's talk about what is used to make it. First of all, I used Garden Wishes for the decorative part of it. I used His Love for the Bible and the cross, and they're stamped with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And I used the Gift of Hope set for the He is not here for He has risen sentiment. I also used the 2-inch and 2.5-inch circle punches. If you don't have a 2.5, because it's been discontinued, but I keep those. Most avid stampers do, but if you're new to this and you don't have this 2.5-inch punch, the circle layering circles dies also have a 2.5-inch circle. The size isn't super critical. It just needs to be bigger than the 2-inch circle and fit, and you'll see as we make the card what I mean by that. So we need to get started. We'll start with the centerpiece. This is what I call the mechanism part of the card. It's just this little piece here, and it's from Whisper White. You could do it with a different color if you wanted to. I chose to have mine be white. And we're going to punch 2 holes in it. And I've already done the first one, but let me show you how I did that. I just slid the cardstock in here. I lined up the edge, this edge of the cardstock with the edge of the punch, just like that, and then I punched it out. Now I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to burnish that fold. Make sure it's lined up really well. And then I'm going to take a pencil and just very lightly put a couple of marks on the 4 sides of this circle, so it'll help me know how to line up for the second circle that I need to punch out. I do believe that if you just lined it up like this, just like you did the other side, that it would come out the same, but rather than take that chance, I'm going to just line up this punch with those pencil marks and punch it out. And then when you close it, those circles line up. And you can save those circles for another day. And typically when you punch that, those pencil marks are going to disappear because they're going to be on that other piece. So there is the art piece, I guess I should say. So then I need some scrap paper here. I try to be prepared, but sometimes I'm not. I know, it's just terrible, but it's true. And I used to have some in here. Here we go. Trying to get it to come out. Let's just get a piece of this from my Stamparatus. That'll give me some background to put behind here so I don't mess up my surface. Okay, I'm going to start by doing the inside piece here while it's flat. And I used this and this from the Garden Wishes, and I colored them with markers, and I used the So Saffron and Old Olive markers, and oh, I also used this one. Okay, and I just colored them and then stamped them, and you can kind of see that. Let me get my marker up here, get them ready to go. I'm using the brush end and just coloring the flower. And I kind of lay the brush on its side. It covers it really well that way. Don't have to be super exacting, just going for it. Okay, I'm going to put that one right like that. And then I wanted this to look a little bit more, to stand out a little bit more. So this is kind of a filler. And I just stamped it once, colored it, stamped it off, and then just stamped it. And it kind of fills in the flower so it shows up a little bit better. And then I used this one and just colored the flowers. Now you could probably do this after it's made because it will still lay flat, but it's just easier to do it now and then it's done before you start building your card. Now this isn't going to go all the way up, so I only have to color the top part. And let's get that in there and let's stamp that one. And again, I'm going to stamp this to fill in that one larger flower just a little bit better. And I'm stamping it off once because I don't want to hide all that beautiful detail. There we go. And then I'm going to do this one again. And I'm only going to use the edges, so I guess I could go ahead and do this too. And I'm not really worried about stamping off. I'm just gonna fit it in there. That looks pretty darn good. And then I did want some more over here, and so I tried, and what I'm going to do is put a piece of sticky note on here at the seam to keep it from going over into the other part, because I didn't want it to, but you could. I mean, you could just let it go over the seam and it would still look totally cool. I'm going to color that. This is probably the most tiresome part here, watching me do this. Okay, and then I'm going to do that. And I don't mind that it did that. I'm going to just fill it in a little bit because that seam made it. And I'm going to add my own stem. Let's do that with this. Never know quite how something's going to come out when you're doing something like that. So I'm just going to create my own stem. And that's good enough. Just like that. That'll be fine. Okay, so that's that part. Then for over here, I used one of the, it's called Dandy laser cuts that are in the main catalog, and they are white, and I colored them with a marker. So I colored this leafy outside part with the old olive, and I colored the ring with the So Saffron, and that's just going to go on here like this, just like that. And for that, you need your liquid glue, or I use my Zig 2-way glue pin. And I am just going to put some dots of glue around the circle. And maybe some dots of glue on these pieces, just on the tips of the flowers, so that it'll help stick that down. And then we will put that on there. Because it's glue, you got a little bit of time to get that centered on your circle so it looks nice. There we go. I'm happy with that. And press it into place. Okay, there is our center part ready to go. Set that aside. Next thing I'm going to do is tell you that I stamped the cross with Memento Black, and I cut it out. I just fussy cut it. Okay, so there's that piece. And then we've got the 2.5-inch circle. That is going to get stamped with the Memento Black as well. And that's just this Bible. and it won't all fit on there, so you've got to just decide. I'll make sure it gets inked well. You know, what parts you're going to let go off. And I kind of just centered it on there. Like that. And so when you lift it up, that's what it looks like. So that's that 2.5 inch circle. We've stamped that on there. Okay. So now it's time to start building this card. Oh, we've got the front to do yet. We'll do that in just a minute. We have to punch a hole in the front of this card as well so that it will show like that. And we are going to place this on here like this and line it up, because it will line up when you attach it. And we're going to do that thing with the pencil marks again. So let's get this lined up just like that. And we're going to do pencil marks like that. And you don't want to try and cut through 2 layers of cardstock with your punch. It's just not made for that. You could end up damaging your punch. So I just recommend that you not do that. That should work, right? Like that should work. Let's go. There's that. So there's the front of the card. And then we're going to have the DSP, and it is cut. Well, I got a little bit ahead of myself. This is, I want to tell you, this is So Saffron, and it is the card front, and it is cut at 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, and it is scored at 5 1/2 right here. Okay, and this is going to go on the front of that. That's my DSP. That's Sand and Sea Designer Series paper, and it is 4 by 5 1/4. So when it gets attached, it will leave that 1/8 inch border all the way around. So I'm going to lay it on there with the 1/8 inch border. I'm going to very carefully turn it over, and I'm going to mark this so I can punch out this window as well. Now I tried attaching it and just punching through it. It was very difficult for my punch, and I won't do that again. So this is why I'm using the pencil marks. And we'll line them up and punch it out. And then this can now go on the front, just flat with Stamp and Seal or whatever regular adhesive you have. Okay, so once it's punched, then you can put just, like I said, you can just put regular adhesive on there, and we're just going to line up that hole in our edges and attach that to the front of the card. So that's going to be the card front. We've got this fold here. Like I said, this was 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. Yeah, 4 1/4 by 8 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Get that right. 4 1/4 by 8 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And we'll burnish that score mark. Now we're going to open this up, and we are going to attach this to this, just like this, just lining up all of the edges, just like that, and just that 1/2. Okay, we're not going to line up the other half. We're just going to have the one. And you want the fold to be going this way. And excuse me, I am using glue because this is going to have some tension on it, and I have discovered that any time you're doing paper with where there's some tension against it, the tape just doesn't work. And I'm going to smooth that out a little bit to the corners and to the edges with my finger, so I get a good seal on the edges. It'll come apart if you use tape, so you really need to use some kind of glue, whatever your glue of choice is. Okay, so we're just sticking that down, just lining it up with the front, so that when you close it, you can already see how it's going to work. Okay, Next is the back piece. And I cut the back piece. It's also from Sew Saffron. And it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And it gets attached to this side, just on the back. And so we can put it on and glue it down so that it matches up this way. And then what's going to happen is this is going to stay stationary, and the only thing that's going to move is this. So I just put a little thin piece of glue right here on the edge. Again, I'm using glue for this particular piece, and I'm just going to line it up just like this. I hope this isn't too confusing. I kind of made it a little bit confusing, I think. Let's hope not. Okay, we need to just let that dry. I'll give that a chance to dry. And now the card, get that piece in there where it belongs, because that folds inside and then the back folds over it. So there's the look, you can see. And then when you open it up, things move. Now, we're going to take this white piece and we're going to put some just regular adhesive on the back of it. It's not moving anywhere. And we're going to open this up. We're going to get this, my glue didn't dry yet. I'm getting in a hurry. Let me re-stick that. Need my glue to dry. What we're going to do is open this up, and we're going to get this slider piece out of the way. And we're just going to line this up. We're going to slide this in. It's stuck to my finger a little bit, and we're just going to slide it in and center it however we want, and then press it so it sticks to the back piece that we have just attached. Can you see that okay? And so it's just going to do that. So now that's in place. Now we need to put this back in and open it up, and it will lay flat, and we can stamp with the Memento Black. We can stamp the sentiment in the center of that circle. Just like that. And there's the basic card mechanism. Now on the front for the cross, I didn't do anything to the cross, but I wanted it to have something. So I wanted some ribbon around it. And I didn't have any purple ribbon, but I do have this granite gray shimmer ribbon. It's just beautiful. And I colored it with Highland Heather Dark Blends Pin. And that way I got my purple ribbon, plus it lets the color goes all the way through, and it still lets the shimmer show, which is so cool. Okay, so then I just took my cross, here it is, and I'm going to attach this with dimensionals. So I'm going to put the just a touch of regular adhesive right here in the center for that ribbon to kind of help me stick that ribbon down. And then before I put everything together, I'm going to put the dimensionals on, and the regular dimensionals fit just perfect in each of the 4 points of the cross. So we'll do that. And then I just took this piece and draped it around and used that piece of adhesive on the back to get it to kind of stay where I wanted it, just like that. And then you can adjust the length if it's too long. This was a 3-inch piece to begin with. I'm going to shorten it up just a little bit. I'm going to stick it down better. And then I'm just going to put that on the front of the card. I decided I didn't want any words or anything else on the front of the card. And of course you can place that cross wherever you'd like. But there is the card. I think it's lovely. I kind of like the idea. He is not risen. He is not here, for he is risen kind of shows up after. I like the look of that. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope I wasn't too awfully confusing. I could run through real quick. We used the 2 and 2.5 inch punches. The basic white piece was 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. The back piece was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, no scoring. The front piece was 4 1/4 by 8 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. So hopefully that gives you some idea. The shimmer ribbon was 3 inches long, and everything else is in place. Thanks again for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, I invite you to do so. Thanks again. Bye.